Howdy y'all, my name is Bryce and welcome back to some more Stardew Valley. We're back on the farm. Okay, let's check our weather. It's raining today. It's going to be clear and sunny all day tomorrow. Got a glimmer. Spirits are somewhat mildly perturbed today. Luck will not be on my side. It's going to make fishing a pain. Okay, we got all this stuff going on. I got a little bit of money because we did some fishing, so that's good. Because there's bad luck today, so fishing is going to just be kind of a pain. I might not get everything I want. I might have to just work towards stuff. I think what we'll do is we might just spend some time clearing out the farm today. So let's do a little bit of that. And then when we get time, we're going to go over and we'll talk to Pierre, get some new seeds, get those planted. And then hopefully tomorrow is a better day for luck because, well, you know, actually I can go fishing. I can go fishing because I think in certain areas, the likelihood of getting trash is near zero. So even with bad luck, it shouldn't be too bad. I could go to the beach and do some fishing there because then you could sell it right to Willie, which is nice. But, you know, if I'm not buying anything today with it, then it doesn't really matter. Or I can go up to, I think I'll maybe go up to like the lake area. I can meet some new people and, you know, that'll be good. I can, oh, I like this area. This is a good area. Ooh, yeah. Is this where that other area connects? The down path? I think it is. It connects over there probably. So this is a good spot. It's got lots of greenery for this stuff, the grass. So that could be good for when we get animals. Maybe we'll put our animals in there because then also there's all this fencing. I'll just need to add a little bit of fencing to put a gate on there. That might be what we do there. Nice. I didn't even realize that I could go over there. Because if you go up here and you walk there, you immediately go into the bus stop area. That's interesting. It's kind of like a mixed zone. If you're below it, it's longer. If you're above it, you get teleported. Okay, it's 8:20. We'll head over to Pierre's in like 30 minutes. And then, yeah, maybe we'll go fishing. I should go and talk to Sophia again, build up that relationship, maybe meet some other people as we're doing things. Go and explore. Maybe go see the museum. Maybe go see Clint. You know, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, we're not going to worry too much. And I'm sure that we'll run into stuff like maybe we'll run into like the first Junimo quest within the next couple of days. I don't really have like the perfect knowledge of when all that stuff happens. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt here that I know what I'm doing because I don't. Price's thing isn't, you know, knowing everything. It's just we go and we see what happens. I used to do all the research and whatnot for games and I have reached a different point in my understanding. We got a geode. We could go take that over to Clint. That might be a good reason to go see Clint. I think it's like 50 per, so I think we can get away with that. Let's go ahead and put these away. Doot. You and you and you and you. We'll plant these guys. Let's put away... No, I want the fishing pole. I'm not going to need the hoe. Actually, I'll need it right now. I won't need the scythe where I'm going. I probably won't need the pickaxe or anything either, but, you know. Okay, let's do that. And that. Nope. That. Okay. And 1 and 2. Perfect. And everything plants itself today, so that's nice. Let's go take this geode on over to Clint's. Actually, real quick. Sophia's at her place. We'll go down to see Sophia. We'll come up and we'll see Clint. Okie dokie. Let's head along the path. Okay. Had to take a little break there. All right. So, I don't even remember what I was talking about beforehand. But we're going to go ahead out and see Sophia. I remember that. And do I not have my scythe? I don't, I think. Well, I mean, I know I don't because I only have 1 bar. When we're playing Stardew, I think I talked about this last time. I definitely talked about this last time. We're going to want to do psych talks. Ooh, let's grab this guy. Where we talk about all kinds of psychology-related things. You know, I asked y'all for some questions for y'all to ask so that I can cover some certain topics, and I would absolutely love to do that. I was just reading some stuff up on ADHD because I have ADHD, and so, you know, every now and then I like to kind of review stuff and see kind of what's going on with it. Oh, is she not here? Maybe she's inside. Oh. Boop. Okay. There she is. Hello. I'm hungry. Maybe I'll get a snack soon. I should get her this. Okay, so you can buy sprinklers and quality sprinklers. So we'll definitely want to save up some money to do that because if I recall, sprinklers are a real pain to make because of how much work it requires in the mines and everything. What's this one head to? Ooh, a different beach. Cool. Can you get to this beach from the other beach? You can. Ooh, neat. Okay. Was that always there? I don't think that's... oh, you know what? It's like... I think in the other one it's different. Because the sewers and stuff is usually there, but I don't think it's there now. I think they've changed that. And so getting the sewer key is also different. What's up, Sebastian? Oh, you just moved in, right? Cool. So we'll see all that kind of stuff. So I was reading up on ADHD. Look at all this. And as I continue to lose focus, and kind of the neurological differences. This is embarrassing, but the previous curator made off with the entire collection. We don't have any artifacts for display, but I'm hoping to remedy that soon. Hey, if you find any artifacts or minerals out there, would you let me know? All right, will do. So, the thing about ADHD is it is a neurodevelopmental disorder, so it's something that develops based on kind of the things that occur around you. Shop, upgrade tools, process geos, as you're growing, as you're developing. Oh, it's only 25 per. Nice. But you also have a genetic predisposition for it. So, like, you have to have the... Oh, I need to actually talk to him behind there to get his tick, I think. So it needs to kind of run in your family. And then also you need to be exposed to the certain kinds of behaviors or lack of behaviors as you're growing up. Hi, I'm Clint. Talk to you again. I'm the town blacksmith. If you ever need to upgrade your tools, I'm your guy. Cool, brah. Oh, I'm yawning, y'all. Sorry. Daylight savings just happened yesterday. So we're still getting used to that. The cats are not happy about it. So with ADHD, you have this issue of lack of focus, lack of ability to maintain focus or to approach things that you're supposed to if you're not interested in them. And it primarily has to do with your the amount of dopamine and norepinephrine that your brain produces. Norepinephrine and dopamine being that the neurotransmitter associated with like pleasure and positivity of like reinforcement in your brain. So, you know, you get that whenever you... Is anybody up here to meet? Whenever you do something that you enjoy... Oh, the guy's still doing that. Okay. Whenever you do something that you enjoy, you get some dopamine. You get a little boost of dopamine. And the thing is that with, you know, when it comes to doing tasks like schoolwork or, you know, just work in general, things that you kind of have to force yourself to do, most, we'll call it neurotypical individuals are, oh, I missed, are able to produce that dopamine at higher rates when they're doing things that they're not interested in. It's the ability to focus. And that has to do with connections from your prefrontal cortex, that's the front part of your brain, to the other cortical regions associated with whatever task you're trying to complete. So like your motor areas, your sensory processing areas, all the things that you would need to access in order to complete a task. With people with ADHD, they just produce less of that stuff, so it makes it that much harder to do things and to maintain the focus on those things while engaged in them. So you kind of, even if you start them, you can lose focus pretty quickly. So, for my personal experience with that, I did not get diagnosed with ADHD until recently as an adult. And the reason for that being that I actually enjoyed school. I enjoy the task of learning. And so when I was in school, I got a ton of dopamine. I loved school. That's why, you know, I went to college, I went to grad school. I loved learning. I hated the paper writing. So that's why, you know, in grad school, I did finish all of my education, all of the stuff having to do with actually learning, taking tests and, you know, reading and all that kind of stuff. I really enjoyed that. But all the other parts I did not enjoy. And so that's the stuff that I did not finish with my... Oh, can't grab it. with my PhD that I was working on. So that's why I only have a master's. So now, as an adult and as someone who has been recently diagnosed, I now understand that that mostly had to do with me enjoying those contexts so it wasn't detected. Like, no one needed to look into it for me because it seemed like I was doing fine. And, you know, to an extent I was. So because of that, there wasn't any pursuit into studying that, right? We'll keep all this stuff for potential boxes. It took a while. It took until me going and trying to figure out what was why I was having so many issues with some of the things I was dealing with more recently. It turned out that was a big part of it, was that lack of enjoyment of the things that I was doing recently. Oh, what's this guy? Oh, there's carts. Let's see. Where does this go? Whoa! It teleports us. Oh, this is the other side of the farm. Okay. And this must be another side of the farm. Okay. Oh gosh, it's pretty foggy around here. Let's see if we can't get over to this area over here. So yeah, that's kind of what my experience has been. And the other part is, you know, certain things that I've experienced as an adult that kind of forced me to confront some pretty traumatic things. I'm not going to go too deep into that. That's, you know, kind of personal stuff, and, you know, I don't want to make you all sad. But, you know, suffice to say, that kind of caused me a lot of issues, and so that was another reason why I was looking into it. Can I go in here? What is this? Is this for, like, farming mushrooms, maybe? What? What is this place? Just free gems? Free gem grabbing place? Alamite, Esperite. I can take these over to the museum. What in the heck? This is awesome. And then I can fish down here, probably for, like, cave fish. How cool is that? I wonder if geodes and things spawn down here. Just, like, we'll have to come back here and check again soon, next couple of days in the game. And we'll see what happens there. So, plus side of ADHD, that's why I'm kind of able to jump back and forth between these topics while playing this game, and somewhat maintain a track. But then also it's kind of why sometimes I'm like, oh, what was I talking about? It just kind of depends on the moment, really. So anyway, you know, I was looking into that. I was finding it super interesting rereading about that. And, you know, with my recent experiences with learning about my ADHD. And ultimately, the other thing that I've learned is that even if you think you're doing all right, if you can, I would strongly suggest getting therapy. Just to see. Just to, like, talk through some things and figure out, are you dealing with some stuff and you don't even realize you're dealing with some stuff? Because that can be the case. And those things can linger, and they can cause problems for you going forward in the future with, you know, relationships, with work, with all kinds of things. Oh, getting exhausted. And, you know, you don't want to have to experience that and then learn from it later, like me. Because, you know, it just takes you a little bit longer to kind of bounce back from that. And you have to do a lot more retraining and relearning. Whereas when you're younger, your brain is a lot more what we call plastic, which means it can change much more quickly. It's very adaptive. So another thing about ADHD that I was just reading about is that in studies of brain matter, kind of how your brain is organized, they also saw that there are some differences in certain pathways, and specifically certain neurological pathways. That's, you know, connections between the different areas of your brain. Have a greater amount of white matter, which is like the connective tissue that is like super fast and sends the messages between the different parts of your brain. Think of them as like the highways that spread through your brain, like across your brain on the inside. But then also very weak connections to other areas of the brain. Very displeased. Gosh darn it. Let's live off the land. Stardew Valley, spring onions in the southwest of town. Okay. So yeah, so because of those differences, he's 20 for it. Yeah, we'll get that today for sure, Pierre, for sure. So yeah, that's another thing having to do with it. It's like there's this like physical neurological difference there. And again, it's developmental. So that's something that over time developed in that way, partially because of genetic predisposition. So like it's just how your family's brains grow, but also from the ways that you are, that you kind of grow up, the things that you're exposed to, the things that you aren't exposed to. It's a lot of like lack of structure, often lack of attention towards learning and whatnot from people outside of you. You know, like I said, from my own experience, I did really well in school. I was really into learning and everything like that. So it didn't seem like I needed any kind of assistance in that region when I was younger. So, you know, no fault to the people around me. It seemed like I was doing okay. But, you know, the other characteristics of that, I definitely experienced. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to take a phone call because, you know, Chrissy calls, I need to answer. That's just how it goes, you know? So, gosh, what was I talking about? ADHD, I think, still? Brain differences? Yeah, so white matter differences essentially in certain pathways that cause it to be very difficult to maintain things like focus and attention towards certain things, and to maintain consistent engagement in stuff that you're not interested in. Did I get all these watered? I think I did. Let's grab our geodes. And I guess these other things too. Here, we'll put these away. Let's grab one of those, because we can take all those to the, to what's his face? The museum guy. Is it Gunther? I think it's Gunther. It's Gunther and Clint. So yeah, so anyway, I've been reading about that. I find that kind of stuff interesting, just in helping me understand kind of what's going on up in my brain. And yeah, so I've been doing better with that because, you know, I've got some medications that help. I'm not on anything like stimulants, which is something that some people take, which some people need in order to like literally create dopamine for themselves. So that's what things like Adderall, Ritalin, Vyvanse, those kinds of drugs are giving you boosts of dopamine. They're just throwing some dopamine into the system. And so that's basically giving your brain the stuff that it doesn't make, or that it doesn't make enough of. The types of stuff that I'm using are called norepinephrine and dopamine reuptake inhibitors. So what that means, reuptake is what happens when your brain flushes neurochemicals into your system, because that's how your brain works. Here, let's take a step back for those of y'all who don't know. The way your brain works is it works on a electrochemical system in which your neurons fire electrical impulses down the neurons, and this down the axons specifically, to send communication to one another, right? But the actual connections between your neurons are chemical in nature. So you release chemicals, the synapses release chemicals into an area between your neurons, and then the other neuron will soak that stuff up, and if it gets enough of it, it sends a signal down telling the next couple in the path, or the next, however many it's connected to, hey, here's what you need to do. Here's some more chemicals. And so that's how your brain works. Just keep spreading chemicals in these different areas, and that's what causes all of your brain to function. That's how your brain works. So, what I have are these norepinephrine and dopamine reuptake inhibitors. And so what that does is it slows down the reuptake. So reuptake is when your brain grabs up all the extra. So like if someone produces a lot of dopamine and you don't need it because you've already completed your tasks, you've already gotten what you needed to get to create a signal, then your neurons suck it back up so it can use it in the future. You know, let's not waste those wonderful chemicals. So for me, it seems that I do produce a lot of dopamine, or like not enough but I do produce some dopamine. And so what happens is the reuptake inhibitor slows down that process of reuptake, that process of my brain saying, hey, take all these chemicals back out of the brain. Ah, the new farmer we've all been expecting, and his arrival has sparked many a conversation. I'm Elliot. I live in a little cabin by the beach. It's a pleasure to meet you. Sorry, I every now and then when I get a thing, I got to talk to the people. You know, I got to do their voices. So what that does is it slows down that process of reuptake, allowing my brain to utilize that dopamine. So the pluses being my brain can get those signals to fire, and so I can maintain a little bit more focus. But downside being it doesn't speed it up, right? But at the same time, I don't experience the negative side effects of the stimulants, right? There's pluses and minuses to all forms of medication. Abysmal. Not a single piece in the entire collection. Oh, I'm here to help you, bud. I'm here to help you. I got some stuff. Huh? What's this? You found something? Let me see it. Remarkable. It's very old. I'd love to study this in greater detail, but it is yours. I've got a favor to ask you. Would you consider donating any new artifacts or minerals that you find? We could make a groundbreaking discovery together. Oh, and who knows? If you keep donating, I might come across some interesting items to send your way. Oh yeah, here we go. Give me some stuff. Think about it, will ya? If you decide to donate, just bring the objects to the front desk. All right, I got you covered, bud. I got you covered. So, anyway, that's my little discussion on ADHD for today. There's a lot of stuff having to do with neurochemicals, neurology, neurochemistry that I find absolutely fascinating. I know probably a lot of y'all do too. Hey, cool. Made some money. I want to make sure that I get over to Pierre's in time to buy some stuff, but we got plenty of time. So I guess I could talk about some general neurology and neuroscience related stuff right now. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I feel like those are cheaper than they used to be. I feel like those are a lot cheaper than they used to be. The ores. Ooh, sunstone. Citrine? What's that one? It's calcite. Those feel cheaper. Maybe they're not, but they feel cheaper. So when I was learning neuroscience in college, I had this professor he's a kooky guy, but he had a lot of knowledge. He'd been doing neuroscience for as long as it existed. He talked about this major principle of neuroscience and how your brain functions, which I think it's a really powerful way to understand how your brain communicates with itself in a kind of a simple way. And so he called it the FLA loop, or the frontal limbic arousal loop. And what that means is you have your frontal lobe, which is where you have control over things and where you think. You have your limbic system, which is where you process emotions and your kind of primal functions. Let's get some cauliflower. Why not? 8. Oh, I want one more. Let's go talk to this guy. He's a new guy. Oh, hey there. You're the new owner of Piggly Farm. Victor. I'm Victor. It's a pleasure to meet you. Price, is it? Ah, cool. Good to meet you, Victor. And then the third part is arousal, which is referring to the lower areas of your brain, the cerebellum and the reticular formation. These parts of your brain that are more involved. It's kind of like the upper part of your spinal column. It's more involved in reflexive actions. It's more involved in kind of keeping you awake and keeping you breathing and all that kind of stuff. So that's more of an automatic part of your brain. But those 3 areas of your brain communicate like that in a sort of loop. You should think about all of your thoughts, all of your neurological experiences as kind of working in that way. There's a loop, a feedback loop that constantly feeds back on itself. So you have a thought, it goes and it checks on the emotions, on how you're feeling. That goes and tells your body how to respond, and that sends a signal back to your front to say, here's how that went. And so in that process, your brain is constantly looping, constantly communicating with itself. So it's not like each area is doing its own thing on its own, and you're kind of stuck with all these different regions that are doing their own thing. It's a constant communication between these different areas of your brain. So once you understand that, it's really neat to be able to kind of go and look at the specific regions and how those process things in order to understand each other, right? To speak with each other. And now I know in the past I've spoken a lot about perception. I love perception. It's my favorite subject in psychology to study. It's all about your senses, how they work, how they communicate with your brain. And ultimately, my favorite way of thinking about it, it's the understanding of how your brain lies to you. Because once you understand how bad your brain is at detecting reality, you then can have this a much better understanding of people and the mistakes that they make and the miscommunications that they have. We're going to go ahead and go to bed. Don't think there's anything else I can do tonight. I spent all my money, watered all my crops. We're good. Am I going to get the scarecrow now? And then I'm going to have to do that and I'm going to lose something because of a crow? No, not yet. Okay. What do we got going on? I also don't know how long I did that this episode. So, because I had to take a couple breaks in there. So this may be a super long episode. Not sure, but whatever. It happens. Hello, Price. You see this cat here? Yep, that's Archer. I found it sitting outside the entrance to your farm. I think it's a stray. Poor little thing. Aww. I think it likes this place. Hey, don't you think this farm could use a good cat? Oh, absolutely. Dudley, no. Archer baby. Or as I call him around here, Stinky. Well, little Archer, you be a good kitty now, okay? I'm wondering if he's gonna hear me come in here. Aw, what a cutie. Okay. Oh, we got our parsnips. Nice. Gonna be a big money day. I've got some new items in stock. A deluxe fishing pole and some bait that you can attach to it. You can use bait to make fish bite faster. Hope to see you soon. Thanks, Willie. All right. Let's grab all of our parsnips. Doot. All right. We'll definitely go get some seeds. I think I need to hold on to one probably for... Oh, hey. Hello, Price. My name is Susan. Lewis told me you're a new farmer in town. I'm trapped on my farm in the mountains, and I can't say hi in person. Hopefully the mess Joja made will be cleared out soon, because I'm going a little stir-crazy here. Can't wait to meet you and see how the farm is shaping up. Yeah, that's right, Susan is up here, but she needs this area to be opened up. So, this is where the train is, this is where the bathhouse is, and then she's got Emerald Farm up there. That's new. I'm excited. I haven't seen that. Okay. To our valued JojaMart customers, we have removed a landslide. Okay, so that we got the mine open. I don't need to read that whole thing. I don't care what Morris has to say about anything. All right, let's go ahead and start all of our daily watering. We will go get some more, probably potatoes if we can afford them, to fill out that area. Cauliflowers will be a little bit too expensive, I think. A little bit too long-term. I mean, they are a nice investment. If I can afford 9, maybe, because then we could potentially get the giant ones. I wouldn't hold my breath on that, though. Not until we can get fertilizer. So yeah, what was I talking about? The frontal limbic arousal loop and perception. Basically, all these different regions of your brain are associated with different functions, but they're always communicating with each other. So it's less like you have all these specific regions and they're doing anything on their own. And it's more like you have processing centers, but they're always communicating with each other to make like a whole picture of things. But your brain does not just kind of get stuff from the world and send it right to the rest of your brain. It breaks apart information and then puts it back together. So what ends up happening is, like let's say you're looking at something in front of you, right? You have your retina, oh, here we go. We'll talk about this in a second. Oh, hi there. What an eyesore. This is the Pelican Town Community Center, or what's left of it anyway. It used to be the pride and joy of the town, always bustling with activity. Now, just look at it. It's shameful. These days, the young folk would rather sit in front of the TV than engage with the community. I might be hitting those T's too hard. But listen to me. I sound like an old fool. JojaCore has been hounding me to sell them the land so they can turn it into a warehouse. Pelican Town could use the money, but there's something stopping me from selling it. I guess old-timers like me get attached to relics of the past. Ah, well. If anyone else buys a JojaCore membership, I'm just going to go ahead and sell it. I ain't doing that. We did that on the Stumpt channel. Oh, here, let's go inside. Do. All right. Top of the morning to you, Lewis. What's this? I guess Vincent and Jazz must have been playing in here. This place is even more dilapidated than I remember. Little apple, as Ash says. What? What's the matter? Are you ill? You saw something? I wouldn't be surprised if this place was full of rats. Little apple! You're worrying me, Price. Look, I think I'm going to head home. I need some lunch. Hey, I'll keep this place unlocked from now on. Maybe you can help catch that rat if you have some extra time. All right. Junimo bundles time. Strange. I'll have to come back and explore this building further. All right. Let's go on in there. Let's get, part of this quest going. What do we got up in here? Done getting started. Okay. Boop. Rat problem. Investigate the community center. Reach farming level 1 and craft a scarecrow. Build a coop. All right, we're working on all that stuff. I've been farming plenty. We'll get that soon. All right, and we know we go in here. Little apple! And then we get this first thing. We can't read it yet. We got to go talk to Rasmatodius. The wizard. I know that's not his full name. I said it that way because I wanted to. Grab some more of these. Cool. I could store these for later. I could sell some. Who knows? Okay, we were about to talk about how your eyes work. Oh, it's locked. Well, so while we wait, nope, here we go. All right, what's up here? So let's sell you these, sell you those. Where are we at? 680. Yeah, that's not enough. Let's buy a bunch of potato seeds. 13. All right, well, we'll do that. Okay, so we're talking about the constructivist way in which your brain makes your view of reality. So let's talk about, like, say, your eye. The way your eye works, your retina and all the other structures of the eye project an image onto the retina. The other structures of your eye project an image onto your retina. Your retina, you got to think of as like a series of like pixels that react to light and send messages to the rest of your brain. But here's the thing. They're not like sending the picture. Each piece is sending one specific, essentially, pixel to the rest of your brain. And it's not even like you get all the colors or anything like that. You have 3 cones in your eyes that are the ones that detect color. And, if you have color blindness, you've probably got less of those. Either you have fewer of them or you have none at all. Let's put these away. So your retina sends this information down your optic nerve. That goes to your thalamus, which is essentially, we call it like the secretary of the brain is a way of thinking of it, which is basically the area that funnels information around and kind of prioritizes things. So that part of your brain looks at all that information that's coming through, and then kind of combines it and organizes it and sends it off to your occipital lobe. And your occipital lobe has progressively more complex areas of understanding of certain things. So the first areas say, look for just the vague color areas and things like that. Let's see, what do I want to put away right now? I'm gonna go fishing. I've already watered everything. I could also chop away stuff on the farm. You know what, let's do some, let's go to the mines, because that's been cleared up. So we want our axe, or our pickaxe, and that should be it. And we've got some time. Let's go ahead and put this up here. I think we have a bad luck day, so, but at least maybe we can get some progress down into the mines. So, you know, your occipital lobe, it's got different areas that process different parts of things. We call this a gestalt version of understanding, which is like a collection of pieces that create a whole. So you have parts that are focused on the color fields. You have parts that are focused on light saturation, so like how bright or dark things are. And so think of it as your brain is creating separate images of these and then laying them over, kind of like a Photoshop layer system, like how you have layers on top of layers. You then go up a little bit of a level and you have these areas that are associated with lines, finding lines. So you'll have certain neurons that respond to diagonal lines going from down to upper right. And then you'll have other ones that focus on down to upper left. And then you'll have ones that are looking for a horizontal line. You'll have ones that are looking for a slightly off horizontal line. You'll have ones that respond to vertical lines. You have all these different neurons that are looking for, or neuron clusters, that are looking for specifically shaped lines, right? And then you go up a level and you're looking for more complex shapes, like say the, I think, do I have to go up this way? Yeah. So like, let's say you're looking for like circles, angles, things like that that are a little bit more complex. That would be another level up because it's combining different lines together to find those shapes. And then even further up, you have what are sometimes referred to as grandmother cells, which we'll talk about in a second. I was just wondering how far down this mine shaft goes. I'm gonna take care of some of the monsters in here before they start climbing out into the valley. I've met a lot of adventurers in my time. I recognize that look in your eye. Old age hasn't robbed me of my eyesight or my skill with a sword, quite yet. Take this weapon. It may not look like much, but it's imbued with magic. With it, you'll be able to battle the monsters here. All right, magic broken blade. You received a rusty sword. I'll keep my eye on you. Prove yourself and I might think about making you a member. Oh yeah, Adventurers Guild. Okay, so let's real quick. Doot. Okay, so these colloquially called grandmother cells, essentially it's regions of your brain that I guess one level before the grandmother cells are like facial recognition cells, say, right? So we have parts of our brain that are dedicated to seeing the components of a human face versus the components of, say, a dog's face or a cat's face or anything like that. So that's why we're able to see so many subtleties in the differences between human faces, right? If you've ever looked at like other animals' faces, it's kind of hard to see the difference between them. And it's not, or at least, you know, more so than human faces. And if you have a lot of time that you spend with those types of animals, you might actually start to develop more complex constructive centers there. So we have these areas that are associated with seeing human faces. And that's, you know, a level up from seeing shapes, is seeing more complex organizations of those shapes, right? Oh, it's our way down already. Oh, don't you dare. So, then above that are what are called grandmother cells, and we're not sure if they actually exist, but there's a belief that there are higher order cells that are associated with, say, like familiarity, people that you know, right? So, for example, there's this idea that you, because you spend so much time with your parents or with your grandmother or whatever, that you have these cells that are dedicated to knowing their face in particular, more so than others, right? So you can recognize them even more minutely, all the different little things. So, you know, that's an interesting concept. Not sure if it goes that high. But the point being, your brain has taken the image on the outside, broken it up into little pieces, and then put it back together. Okay? It's sort of like it does image compression, and like it zips it up, and then it unzips the information. But there's some information lost there. There's some problems with the compression. So that's why you don't get the one-to-one ratio in your vision, say, or in your hearing, or in your taste, or in your touch. Now, notice I didn't say smell. The thing about smell is that it bypasses the thalamus. That part I told you about the brain that kind of is the secretary that organizes together all the different paths that you need to go through, all of the different information that needs to be communicated across your brain. It bypasses it. It doesn't go there. It goes straight into what's called the rhinencephalon, which just is part of your brain that is associated with processing smells. So, going into that area, it just goes straight into your brain, straight to the emotion centers, straight to all the processing in the brain. It bypasses that compression. So that's why, you can't really stop yourself from smelling smells, right? You can kind of stop yourself from hearing things a little bit. You can kind of do things where like you have focused attention. So where like you'll be in a room with a bunch of people, right? And it's just like yelling. Sorry, not yelling, but just people talking really, really loudly, like at a party or something like that, right? And you will still be able to focus on a conversation with someone who's right next to you, even if they're just speaking normal volume, right? But if you measured the decibels in that room, right, you shouldn't be able to tell the difference between that, right? Like a computer would just see it as all noise. And so that's because your brain can attenuate, as we call, where it says, okay, this information is important, this information is not, so let's focus on that, right? The thalamus says, I don't need this background noise, I just need this frontal noise. Same thing with your vision. You can focus on certain parts, you can kind of blur out other parts. That's not only a physical part of your eyes, but it's also a part of that attenuation. And if you stare at something for too long, you kind of stop seeing it. So if you've ever done this thing where you kind of like stare at a white screen for too long, or a specific color, right? There's these kinds of perceptual tasks that you can do. Or if you just stare at a white screen, right, for a long time and you're just not paying attention to it. When you look away, you'll have this sort of ghosting effect. And that's because your brain has actually stopped listening to those cells, because it says, you know what? This information's not changing. I don't need to waste my time attending to this. So we're going to stop processing this information. So your other sensors can do that. Another example, when you sit down, you don't feel your butt all the time, right? You sit in a chair and you eventually, your body attenuates to you sitting down. So you don't actually like feel your butt in your chair, right? Or your arms on the armrest or whatever like that, unless you're like moving them around and doing something to pay attention to them, right? And that's because your body says, hey, I don't need to focus on this information. This information hasn't changed in a while, so why don't I just not process it and work on processing other things? So all of your senses do this except for smell, because it bypasses the thalamus. So you can't control or reduce the amount that you smell something, right? You have to do that physically on the outside. You have to plug your nose. The one way that you can kind of do it is by using your tongue to block your air passageways in your mouth. So that's like the roof of your mouth, the air passage that goes behind it. That's kind of part of how you smell and taste. So you can kind of do that thing where you plug your nose from the inside. And that's really the only way that you could stop yourself from smelling things. And that's like a physical action that you're doing on the outside. That's not something that your brain is doing on the inside, that it's sensing on the inside. So because of that, there's these really interesting properties about how our brain kind of processes things. But with smell, we don't process it that way. So if you've ever heard the phrase, smell is the strongest sense tied to memory, that's because it bypasses the thalamus. It goes straight to the emotion centers. There's no way to turn it down. The volume is always up to 100. And so when you experience a specific smell associated with a specific memory, specific thing that you're doing, your brain is like, hey, this is exactly what that smell goes like. It's full full experience goes to that. And when I smell it again, boom, full experience. I got that memory. I got that. Your brain grabs everything because your brain says, well, look, this is important. It processes this much of my brain, so it must be important, because the rest of your brain doesn't know that it hasn't gone to the thalamus. It just gets the information and says, wow, this is important. So while all of your other senses will be organized and kind of balanced around the different cortices and the different processing, your smell is not. So super interesting stuff, right? Your smell is the sense strongest tied to memory because it goes right into the brain. It's just got a direct highway right to all of the rest of your brain, right to the emotion centers, and does not get organized by the thalamus. Doesn't get throttled, essentially. Anyway, y'all, I hope you enjoyed that little talk. A lot of y'all, if you've been around for a while watching my stuff, you've probably heard me talk about that before. It's one of my favorite subjects to talk about, and specifically that is one of my favorite parts of perception, is learning about olfaction, which is your sense of smell, and how that kind of affects your brain, your emotions, how you experience the world. We're going to go ahead and go to sleep, and that's going to be the end of this episode, y'all. Uh-oh, we got the scarecrow, which means something's getting eaten next episode. But yeah, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, of course, leave a like, comment down below. Let me know what you would like me to talk about in upcoming episodes of Stardew while we're walking around and doing all the walking around things, while we're doing the watering, while we're doing all the kind of basic stuff. Do subscribe if you're not already. Please go watch another one of my videos. It lets YouTube know that you want to keep seeing my stuff pop up in your feed. But most importantly, y'all, have a wonderful rest of your day. I have been Price, and I will see y'all next time.